Okay, so now we're ready to make the high-res version. Unfortunately, I made a bit of an error, mistake. I did this already and recorded it, and I ended up with this piece here, which is more high-res. However, when I recorded it, it wasn't capturing the audio because it reset my settings. So, I'm going to do it again. However, the good news is that this time I can do it right without making any of the errors that I made when I did it the first time. So I'm going to turn this smooth and high res while hopefully doing it a little bit faster than I did before and knowing what's going to go wrong. So the first thing that I want to do is I actually want to get rid of the detail that I added here for the shell ejection port, because I really don't want to have that in there yet when I go to do chamfers. Chamfers don't like having lots of details. Okay. Optimize is not a good thing to do, to try to drag across that, to try and grab all this other stuff. So there's also connect here. So I'm just going to pick these 2 points and hit connect. Okay, these 2 edges I'll get rid of. I'm going to basically turn this into a basic box. So remember, I'm holding control when I hit backspace on those edges to get rid of them. And I want to get rid of these front edges here. There's no real way to ring these, so sometimes you have no choice but to just click through them. And instead of sitting there trying to find a way to select it, it's best just to do it. Let me get rid of these points, which I can't get rid of that until I actually connect it to one of the corners. Now I can get rid of those. So all these extra edges, and this one here, I'm just going to not hold control and just hit backspace here. So it's a basic box here. I'll get rid of these 2 because I know I'm going to need to later. I can add this shell ejection port back after I've done my chamfer, and that works out pretty good. Now see, I got some funny errors here. If I go to 2, I got a little turn edges that I can use to help fix what it looks like temporarily, which I'm not 100% worried about quite yet, but just so it doesn't look all broken, you can always turn these hidden edges if you need to and fix any of this weirdness. So I'm going to get this point and delete it. I don't need it. And this point, I'm going to delete that guy because I don't need it either. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all the extremities of this box, which are basically these 4 edges here, including this guy. Let me get rid of these 2 here, holding control and backspace, and it won't let me do this one because it needs the 1 connection. So I'll just use the front corner, and now I can control backspace that, and you can see I don't have any extra verts going on except for this guy, which I just hit backspace on. It's clean. Just so it stops freaking out all the smoothing stuff, I'm just going to hit it with auto smooth so it looks a little easier and neater to manage. The other thing I want to do is I want to get rid of this extra ring I got down here that is not doing me any good, so I'm just going to loop it. Just this whole loop, and control backspace gets rid of that. Okay, and I don't actually need any of these here, So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go by angle. I'm just going to change it to a real nice small angle. Click that. Got to make sure it didn't pick anything else, because it can do that on you. If you do go by angle, you can get back-faced edges and polygons sometimes. And I'm just going to grow that, expand my selection, and hit delete, not backspace, to cut that out. Remember, I got my barrel there, so it's not going to hurt anything. Okay, so now using 2, I'm going to go through and I'm going to grab all of my corners. Now this still might not be a good way to do it from what I had done previously, but I did have some problems getting my chamfer to work okay with all of that segmenting going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the small chamfer first, which I kept very small. No, I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to do it the way that I'm going to actually have to fix. So I'm going to get rid of all my edges except the 2 top ones. Those are my biggest chamfer that I need to do. So, because that's the most curved part of the gun. And you can see it doesn't like having that segment there. So I cancel that and temporarily switch that segment to this corner, remembering that it has to have 1 connected. And now go in and pick in this. You can see my chamfer is clean. Okay, I'm going to go 4 segments. I know this is a high-res model, but it's not a movie model, so it still needs to be within some kind of budget. I'm not going to go make a whole too many segments here. I'm going to keep it at 4. I could possibly go 5 if I wanted to, just so it's very clean, but 4, it's not going to be much of a visual difference when you're playing a game and you really only ever see the gun probably from here. Doubt it's ever going to be like that on your screen, you know, being your whole game view. That can arise, but even if it did, nobody would notice that there's segment there. So we're okay. And now what I'm going to do is make sure I check that off. Click this guy, and I'm going to try to loop it. See how far I get. Not very far at all. Go to Graphite Tools and hit the loop mode and see how far the rest of it gets. It's really not going very far at all, so just going to have to manually pick these. Just can't figure out how far I want it to go, except I've started trying to think too much. These stupid machines should just stop thinking. Okay, and now this is going to be much less of a chamfer. And I'm just going to go 2 segments, and you can see it's fine up here, it's fine down here, it's very broken here. The reason being this segment down here. So if you run into that, I need to swap again which edge I have connected. So I'm going to swap it to that one. And I'm going to get rid of that one. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is, nice trick, just going to click, I don't want to be by angle, just going to click here. If I hold Control and I pick edge, it's going to swap my selection for my edges, and I can easily get rid of that. Okay, nice quick way to do your selection. So I'm going to go to, no, I didn't want to connect. Ooh, no. Do that again real quick. Hold Control, click the edges, and then dump these. I want chamfer, not connect. And I'm going much less than I was on my other one. Let's say 0.5. Relatively decent curve going around here. Excuse me. Okay. And while I'm at it, I'm just going to hold Control and then Alt that and get the back as well. The operation is still active. So do the front and the back, and if I look at my source, I can just gauge this curve here. Remember, I got a really really wide curve. It's almost nothing back here, but I'm going to give it a little more, just to make sure that there's something there. In fact, it's pretty close to about right. In the front, it's more like this. Okay. Doesn't look too bad. Sit okay. So now I'm pretty curved. That was the goal. Didn't overblow the segments. Still only at 1400 polygons total. However, that does include this extra piece that I had done before. That was 450. So what I'm going to do actually is just delete that. I'll go ahead and rename these because they came in as that Glock unwrap. Okay, I'm just going to call this the grip. I'm just going to call this the extras. Okay, trigger, barrel, sights, and all that stuff. Okay, so this isn't looking too bad. Now I need to make this round down here, so hide unselected. Just going to get all these segments, and I'm going to go to my graphite modeling tools just to have it up, and I'm going to first hit chamfer. I want to try to even it out as much as I can visually using 2 segments. Should be fine. If I went 3, I'm increasing the amount by 3 times 3. So I'm just going to go with 3. I'm going to hit OK. And you'll notice that this is kind of spade shaped. It's a little shovel shaped. A little point down here that's ugly. Now the fix, obviously, can manually move it up, but I'm going to be guessing where that smooth curve factor is. So if you go here to loops, this will normally be expanded for you if you're working full screen. You see it collapsed it down for me, but I can always highlight over it, and if I say set flow, it actually fixes these and tries to maintain a perfectly round, smooth curve, and did not do too bad of a job. The other thing I'm going to do, so I'm going to go ahead and use loops flow connect, which is a connect and maintain curve. Okay, loops flow connect. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to scale this out just a little bit so that it's not such of a sharp little turn there. The true Glock, the center of this guide rod molding is not dead on line with this, so it doesn't start the curve there at the halfway point of the circle. It's not a perfect hemisphere. It actually dips down a little bit more that way. There's a little bit of a hook in, and that helps channel this and maintain structural integrity. That's why that's done that way. So now what I can do is I can just get this face and hold control and click edges. Okay, I don't want that edge. And I'm going to hit this with a chamfer. Obviously that's way too much, so I'm going to bring that down and just tick it back. And really I'm trying here to capture a specular highlight, so I only want 1 segment. Leave it like that. Now what's going to happen is when lighting hits this, it's going to hit here, break, and I'll actually get a highlight running down this thing to help accentuate the fact that this circle is actually there. I feel that this, before I do that, I feel that these here are not in a good spot. Now if I hit set flow again, that feels much more round, much nicer. Okay, I'll let set flow figure that out for me. And now I go back here and then hit control edge. Get rid of that guy and then hit my chamfer. Very small, very subtle. I'm not doing the back, it's underneath, inside the gun. It's never going to see it. Okay, now the trickiest part is getting this to chamfer against an already existing chamfer. This, if I look at my source, is much sharper. However, I do want to pick up a slight edge highlight. So the reason that I'm chamfering it is not to help the volume of the model, or to even really help the model have any form, but I'm just trying to pick up a specular highlight the same fashion that I did here, which if you look at this from far away you can't even really tell that it's there. However, you would see under other lit circumstances that it's going to light that. So if I go chamfer, and if I go really, not the segments, I want to do it in here, just to exaggerate this, you can see that it breaks into where this corner is, and it's really not good at all. So I'm just going to zero it out and then start ticking myself over. I'm going to hit OK, and then all I got to do is hold shift on optimize and connect that little corner there, that extra piece that got made, and that pretty much takes care of it. Oops. I'm going to hit 1 just so I can zoom in here, optimize, and right click, click all that stuff. You can see here that things didn't work out so well with my chamfer. It was because I had that edge shooting back here. However, that edge had to shoot somewhere to one of these corners, so one of these would have been broken no matter what. There's nothing I could do about that. So I'm going to manually fix this, which is going to be relatively easy. Just going to weld everything together like that. So I have the same number of segments, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, just like I have here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I need to match this shape back here. So the way to do it, just to be off optimize, is to actually just get where these are supposed to be. X and Y are good here. I don't want the Z, but I can use the X, Control C, and then I'm going to Control V, okay? Pick that point, highlight the Y, Control C, highlight this point, Control V. If I want the right Z, which it looks like it probably is okay, I can copy that from over here where it should be in line, and no, it wasn't okay. Now this point here, let's check our Z first. 20.19. I'm just going to copy it just in case, and it's okay. It was already fine, and it looks like it's perfectly in line here. What I need is my Y from this front corner. So if I hit Z over here, I want this to be in line with this guy. I want that to go straight down. Right now it's coming out to the corner. So I'm going to copy my Y, which is negative 5.55. Okay, come back here, click that, hit Z, and now I can paste my Y. And now you can see that we're doing a lot better. This edge runs pretty nicely parallel. If I do left view, and I zoom in just to double check that I'm in line here, I should only see 3 points. If one of these was moved like that, I would see it. Okay, and it doesn't look too shab. Over here you can see that there is something weird going on there. So let's see where that extra vert is. Okay, got a curve going this way, that's okay. I've got a curve going this way, that's okay. However, in this view, this kind of makes a little bit of a corner as it pokes out. Now, I cannot move this point in any direction without messing up one of these curves. So what I would actually need to do is split this. Now, while I could do that, I'm not going to, because it's not going to help. It's not going to change anything. It's such a tiny curvature, and the fact is that the bottom should actually be much less of a curve. So I'm going to go ahead and round that like that. Okay. It should be flatter at the bottom, and that's how the gun is. So I'm going to give it a slight bit of a curve, but not a lot. If I look at my front view and I hit Z on that, you can see that I do have something weird going on. Let me see where these points are lying. They're not equal, so I'm just going to make them planar in the Z. Make sure these guys are planar in the Z as well, which they weren't. Now if I go front view, I zoom in, I can adjust my curve. I can go very curved if I wanted to, but making sure that I don't move away from up and down. I could also bring this loop here back if I wanted to even it out some, but I'm not going to. I want that sharpness. If I take this guy and I do my auto smooth and I don't show edges, you can see, let me get this corner here, that I might have a problem. Nope. It didn't exactly want to smooth it across the whole thing, but it didn't break it entirely. So let me just do this. I'm going to put everything, clear it, put it all on group 1. I don't want this piece part of that group, so I'm just going to get, if I go to my front view here, I can take this and this easily selected, and I just stick that on group 2. And then that doesn't break the smoothing across this whole thing, which looks pretty decent, except for here, and the reason for that is because it doesn't know how to segment this polygon until I actually give it a little bit of a helping hand, and then that's fixed. Okay, so you can go there like that, and go there like that, and I can give myself, actually get kind of close to having quads on the front here, though I can't actually maintain perfect quads without cutting in more segments. So we just keep it like that, and again, that won't show any real too many artifacts in terms of the lighting. It's there, I can see them, but it's relatively unnoticeable. So this piece is coming along. I need to do the back channel here, which I had done in the other version of the model, but I've deleted it because I don't want it clouding my judgment. So if I look at my source, at this guy, you can see that this is grooved back here, and it's actually a double channel. There's a little bit of a flat on the edge. Okay, let me zoom in. You can see I've got a little flat surface here which is mirrored on the other side. Then I've got these actual grooves that are running pretty much down the length to here that are fitting into grooves that are also on the handle. So I'm going to do a basic representation of that. I don't need to go absolutely crazy making it hyper real, but getting those grooves in there is going to go quite a long ways in terms of making the gun look, you know, a little bit better from the rear. And considering this first-person view, this is the angle you're going to be looking at, and it's going to be, you know, right up in your face, especially in aimed mode. You know, like that, it's going to be here. So having this flat across and the real gun's got, you know, these grooves, it's important that I do that, so I'm going to.